built to serve.
Welcome back. Time for a little draw in a blank. We're going to start with the Green Bay Packers. When they drafted Jordan Love last week, many thought that would aggravate Aaron Rodgers, but ESPN's Bill Barnwell thinks it could actually motivate Aaron Rodgers, asking the question, isn't there a chance it lights a fire under him? So, Nick, a motivated Aaron Rodgers this season would be blank.
The exact same. Let me say this on the front end. I think Bill Barnwell is the smartest person writing about the NFL. If I were to win the lottery and buy an NFL team, my first move would be to hire Eric Mangini to be my head coach. My second move would be to hire Bill Barnwell to be my general manager. I love Bill, but he is, during quarantine, he's bought into this media nonsense that Aaron Rodgers and other players aren't operating under peak motivation. That Aaron Rodgers is going through the motions. I mean, maybe I'll win a Super Bowl. Maybe I won't. Who cares? Can't wait for the offseason. Oh, you drafted a quarterback? Now I'm going to try harder. He's been trying his hardest. I promise you the issue is Aaron Rodgers hasn't been under-motivated. So this idea that, we're going to hit it with, instead of the sugar cube, we're going to give him the whip and he's going to run faster. He's not a Clydesdale. He's one of the greatest football players ever. So, no, he's going to be the exact same no matter what the Packers do mind games with him through the draft, Coach.
Yeah, I think one of the things he's going to be is talkative. And when you look at what he did last year, a lot of it was overcoming coaching, overcoming a rookie head coach. And Aaron's always been one to say things, maybe not directly, but he sends very clear messages. And really, the only time that happened last year is when they went out to California, and he talked about the fact that they weren't very prepared, that they didn't have the right approach to it. But that's going to happen a lot more. When you disregard the contribution that he made to last season, or you start putting out there that you're frustrated with his act or you're over his act, just understand that you're gonna get a lot more of that act in the next season. And this is a little bit of a case of overestimating your contribution versus Aaron Rodgers' contribution.
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers wrote chill vibes on Instagram. I actually think it's the opposite. I actually think when he chills out, he gets more fired up. Remember in 2014 when he was like, relax, everybody, after they were 1-2, and then they went 11-2 from there on out. So I think the more relaxed he is, the more motivated he is. But, Jenna, the thing I'm really worried about now is Nick's fictitious football team. He just hired Barnwell to be the GM, and then he just was really upset at him. So I think there's some turmoil, not only in the Packers organization, but also with Nick's fictitious football team.
Perfect owner.
I feel so bad for Nick. Not really. Let's move on to Cam Newton now. When his former head coach, Ron Rivera, was asked if he thought about bringing Cam to his new Washington team, Rivera chose his words carefully, saying, it depends on circumstances. So, Nick, considering the circumstances, a Cam Newton-Ron Rivera reunion would be blank.
I think a bad idea for all parties involved. I like Ron Rivera a lot as a head coach, but he's not what you would consider a cutting-edge offensive mind. I would like to see Cam, with his next team, have some offensive innovation that he didn't get in his decade or near decade in Carolina. Also, I still believe Dwayne Haskins can be a franchise quarterback in this league. He didn't play well his rookie year until the final 2 games, were his best 2 games of the season. I don't want Cam to go somewhere where he's just a placeholder. And they traded for Kyle Allen, Jenna, one of your many mediocre backup quarterback loves. And I really just don't want to hear about how Kyle Allen needs to replace Cam Newton from you every week, every Monday next year. So for all those reasons, selfishly and for Cam and for Ron, Coach, I say it's a bad idea.
Yeah, to me, this would be surprising, bordering on shocking. And Ron Rivera knows more about Cam Newton than anybody, and the fact that he's not pushing for them to bring in Cam talks a lot about what he thinks, and sometimes you speak volumes by what you don't say. And their quarterback situation is far from settled, and to have an opportunity for a player like Cam Newton, if you felt that Cam Newton was a franchise quarterback, and nobody would have a better perspective or better understanding whether or not he is that than Ron Rivera. To me, it would be surprising if they move forward just with everything that's been done to this point.
Yeah, Jen, I went, it's not Brady Gronk. This is the band that doesn't want to get back together. Even though Cam was 68 and 55 with Ron Rivera, it's like Ocean's 11 or 12 or 13 when they put the team back together, except the opposite. These guys do not want to be together.
It's like,
All right, it's true. Nobody knows him more than Ron Rivera. It's just like Ocean's 11.
It is.
Exactly. On to the
just
Dallas
like
Cowboys
Ocean's
now.
11, 12, and
the big
13, except
elephant
the
in
opposite.
room.
Yeah.
That's true. That is what he said. Dak's contract. CEO Stephen Jones once again asked about it and said this: "We believe in our track record of getting players signed. I totally believe we'll get Dak signed at the right number. That's good for Dak, good for the Cowboys, good for the team. And yet, my friends, Dak remains unsigned." Nick, Stephen Jones' comments on Dak's contract were blank.
Superfluous, pardon me. Like almost all the Cowboys' comments on Dak's contract the last 15 months have been unnecessary. Very often I think the New England way is overrated, but in this regard, they need to take a page out of Bill Belichick's playbook. Say less. Hey, he's a player. We've been negotiating with him. Everyone knows that. We're not going to continue doing this through the media, because every time they comment on him, you add $500,000 to what his ask is going to be. Every time it's like, oh, of course he's going to be here. Of course he's our quarterback of the future. Of course we're excited. Mike McCarthy, of course I'm excited to coach him. One of the reasons I took the job. Zip it, fellas. He's not under contract right now. He's not even technically right now a member of your organization. He doesn't even want to show up to these Zoom workouts that you guys are doing. Stop talking about this. You're not helping your cause, Coach.
Yeah, to me, these comments are consistent. This is what they've done throughout the whole process, and I don't know why you think they'd suddenly change and why you would expect that if they don't say anything now, Nick, that the contract expectations are going to change. They've said a lot of really positive things about Dak, and I believe that they believe those things as well. So they will get the contract done. Will it be sooner rather than later? Probably not. There's probably going to have to be some sort of event that pushes it to the edge or to a breaking point. But it's consistent with how the Cowboys operate.
Jenna, I went with Nick referencing LeBron in the show. This is going to happen one way or another. It'll get done. You might not think it's going to happen. You might be like, how is it going to happen? This contract will get done. And they're at 33, 105, 33 and a half, 34, whatever it is. It's going to be Nick referencing LeBron in this show. Some way, somehow, it will get done.
Well, once again, I feel like this is a little projection from Kevin Wildes. Monday, I was trying to talk about The Last Dance, the great documentary that I believe Kevin Wildes' wife helped make, yet he somehow shoehorned LeBron into the conversation. Today, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. You shoehorned LeBron into the conversation. Listen, LeBron's doing his own thing. He's working out, working on Space Jam, which I'm sure we'll talk about later in the show because Wildes demanded it be in there because Wildes has a weird LeBron complex. I'm just here to talk about the news of the day. I'm just here to talk about the news of the day and the facts on the ground. And if the greatest athlete in American history comes up organically, we can discuss him. But I didn't feel a need to bring it up, at least yet today, Kevin Wildes. That's where I stand, Jim.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Wildes,
Stand corrected.
this is just like Ocean's 11. The same exact thing, but a totally different plot with different characters and a completely different topic. Like that. All right, on to some hoops now. The New York Knicks are reportedly mulling over the idea to trade for soon-to-be 35-year-old Chris Paul because it could jumpstart the franchise. Apparently, Patrick Ewing and Willis Reed were busy. Nick, the Knicks eyeing a CP3 trade is blank. No, they weren't.
A
Big
fait
baby shots,
accompli.
water gun.
People were discussing this the moment Chris Paul got traded from the Rockets to the Thunder, that he was going to end up a Knick, because nothing is more New York Knicks than signing a once-great player when he is on his bloated final contract. Now, I should say this. If you guys remember, back when the world was normal and I was doing that MVP horse race, you know whose name popped up there at the end with 5% chance? It was CP3. He is playing great basketball this year, but $122 million. That is what is owed to him over the next 3 years. That seems a little onerous for a team that isn't exactly a point guard away from winning the title, Coach.
To me, this is merited. And when you look at it,